Time for another board game review, and this time we have the classic game Mastermind. This was sent to me by Goliath and is designed by Mordecai Merowitz. Mastermind is one of the world's most popular games. It's easy to learn and fast to play with more than 2,000 possible codes. It's different every time. Let me show you how to play. So in Mastermind, the object of the game is to solve your opponent's code in fewer turns than it takes your opponent to solve your code. You decide how many games you're going to play and decide which player will be the code maker and which will be the code breaker. So the code maker will decide a code, secretly, of course. Then you lift this shield up so that the other player cannot see. The code breaker will then place 4 pegs in the first set of holes. So let's say they guess black, green, white, and yellow. You have to put a red peg for every code peg that's the right color and in the right position. So if we look at our code is yellow, black, white, blue. And this is black, green, white, yellow, meaning that none of them are in the right position, so you can't put a red peg. However, there are 3 colors that match our code, so we're going to put 3 white pegs to indicate that the code breaker is correct about 3 of the colors at least. So let's say with that information, the code breaker goes, okay, let's try this. I'll put black here, I don't know, white here, yellow here, and let's try blue here. Let's just say they get really lucky. Ooh, okay. Well, in that case, 2 of the pegs are in the right spot, black and blue, meaning you would mark 2 red pegs, and the other 2 colors are colors that match, but they're not in the right spots. So you would do that. And then you just keep going until the code breaker logically can deduce what the code is. So let's say on the next one, they just get it. They're like, you know, I think it's this. Then the code maker will reveal, and then you score. The code maker gets 1 point for each row of pegs played by the code breaker, and then players switch roles to start the next game. However, if the code breaker can show that the code maker has given wrong information, then you have to replay the game, and the code breaker gets 3 points, while the code maker gets no points. If all 10 rows are used, and the secret code has not been broken, the game is over, and the code maker gets 11 points, 10 points plus a bonus point. And then you switch roles. You can keep track of your score on the side here with pegs if you really want to. I don't know why you would. And then whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. And that is Mastermind. So the biggest problem with Mastermind is that essentially it is a 2-player game where one of you gets to have fun and the other one doesn't. You just sit there as literally like an AI that just goes, yes, you are correct, no, you're not correct. All you're doing is seeing what the other person plays and putting in the correct pegs. The game tries to make you think there's strategy to putting a tricky code. Yeah, that's complete fucking nonsense. I guess you can score points if you make them get tricked longer, but who cares? It's not gameplay. You're just sitting there, you know, watching the other person get to have fun. Because the code breaking is fun. Code making is not fun. There's a reason why this base Mastermind concept is a mini game in other games. And I realize this is obvious, you know, this is a very old game. But this is a review of a modern version of this game. Mansions of Madness features its own version of Mastermind, because at its core, yes, this is decent logic fun. It is a good design if you are the code breaker. It's just a pure, simple logic game of comparing your previous inputs, trying to optimize your speed and guessing. It's satisfying to break the code. Too bad it's absolutely not satisfying for the other player in any shape or form. An electronic version of this would be preferable, and I'm pretty sure they exist. I think there's a free browser version you can play right now. For specific fiddliness with this version, putting in the pegs is a little annoying if you've got like normal sized fingers and they can pop out really easily. I don't know, like it's not even that well put together as like a remastered version or whatever. So yeah, this is only fun for one person. You might as well get a version that lets you play solo instead of forcing somebody else to just sit there for you and say, yes, you're right, no, you're not, as your personal computer.